Hi, it's Aaron. How you doing? In this video, I'm going to show you the steps necessary to replace the AC condenser on a 2015 through 2018, which is current Chevy Silverado, Sierra, GMC Sierra 1500, and it should be relatively similar on the Tahoes and Suburbans. Here we go. Tools you'll need to do this is a plastic rivet or plastic trim tool that I got in here. You need a 13 deep, 13 shallow pick to get off the transmission lines, a 10mm wrench, preferably a ratchet wrench, a deep 10 is what I used on some of the bolts with my little power ratchet. Then I also used an impact to get off some of the 13mm bolts that require a little bit more power. Let's get going. First thing we're going to need to do is remove all 11 of these little bushing clip things. Go ahead and get yourself a plastic trim remover or a butter knife or a screwdriver. Go ahead and pull all these out and remove this plastic top. With this condenser, we won't need to remove the radiator, which is actually quite nice. We will need to remove this top little bracket. It's held in by a number of 13mm headed bolts and 10mm. First thing you're going to want to do is remove your washer reservoir and your air intake cleaner. That's going to give us access to AC lines and a couple of bolts, and I'll show you what those are. There's 6 bolts that we're going to have to remove, and in order to do that, we're going to have to remove the air cleaner upper, the air cleaner base, the connector right here, and this 5/16 or 8mm headed hose clamp. So go ahead and do that. There's 4 bolts that hold on the air cleaner. They're 8mm or 5/16. One on each corner. Go ahead and remove those right now. Air cleaner's out of the way. Remove this 13mm bolt right here. Go ahead and do the same with the other side, and there's 1 bolt holding in that washer reservoir. To get to the 6 bolts, 3 on each side, I used a combination of a 10mm ratcheting wrench and my nice little electronic ratchet. Pretty nice little tool, 30 bucks at O'Reilly's, it works. Once you get that off, take off your middle bolt right here. It's 13mm head. Lift up, and slide out. That's it. Move this top little plastic piece. Throw it away. Just kidding. Don't throw it away. There's 2 lines you're going to need to disconnect. One right here and one right here. They're held in with little tiny clips. You're going to use a pick to get those out. So before we do that, we're going to need to evacuate all the refrigerant. If you have any left, there's probably a little bit left in here. I'll go ahead and do that now. Get the system empty, and then we can remove those lines. Alright, at this time, go ahead and take your clips out. I'm going to be using a pick to pick at these clips. Don't lose them, because chances are your new condenser does not come with new ones. They could, but you definitely want to keep these around. If anything, put them in your toolbox and save them for something special. Once you have your top lines out, you're actually going to want to go down I'm on the passenger side right now, and you're going to remove that nut that holds on that manifold, and that's going to allow your AC lines, your actual AC lines, to come off your condenser. Once you do that, your condenser will be free to pull off. Little trick here is, where are we at? Sorry about that. Here's where the top of the condenser, this little tab needs to be pushed in. You can push it in with your thumb, and then with your other hand, go ahead and lift up, and that'll free it out of its mount. On the passenger side again, there's also a bolt that holds in a little plastic mount for the lines. You're going to go ahead and need to remove that too. That's a 10mm. Little thing on the passenger side, the transmission cooler line that goes to the top of the condenser, if that sounds funny. Transmission cooler line does kind of goes and reaches around to the radiator, so if you remove this, it's going to make it a whole lot easier to get this condenser out. Line removed, go ahead and lift up, and it just comes on out. One good idea is to replace the seals on the discharge and suction hose of your AC system that connect to your condenser. I'm not going to take any chances. I just bent them up to get them a better view for you guys. I'm not going to take any chances. I'm going to replace these. They might seal back up, but I don't want to have to fool with it again. So go ahead and go to Napa or Riley's or GM and buy yourself some new seals. Once you're done, go ahead and start it up and check for leaks with the shroud off, just so you can see your transmission lines, see if they're leaking. As you can see, no leaks. No leaks at all. That's good. Now we're free to go ahead and refill the AC system.